Yay Media Group.
Listen, I do a lot of stuff that you don't even know goes on in here.
Yeah?
Yeah. The other day, I cleaned this whole place top to bottom.
Oh, you did. Jeff's a really good mopper.
Have you ever touched a mop in your whole life?
I have, but you're just a better mopper than me, so I let you do it. Hey guys, episode 100.
I can no longer use my football terms because there is no 100 in football.
Oh yeah, you can't. I actually have a funny story for this 100th episode. So Jeff told me to go get balloons. He was working and he said, you were working in the office, like doing stuff.
Yes.
I don't want to mislead people and then be like, wait, you got a job? You didn't tell us? I meant like working in the office. So he goes, go to Party City and grab some balloons. So I went to Party City, which next time, if you have to go to Party City, order online. That's like the thing, I guess. And I feel so bad because the women are shorthanded and there are so many people going in there. And I guess you need to order online.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think
Good
it's
tip.
kind of annoying if you just walk in and you were that person like, hey, I need some balloons. But the ladies are amazing. The one in Lone Tree over here. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I just pick out one that I buy individually and then they open it up? Or is there one I can pick off the wall? Didn't know what I need to do. Talk to this sweet lady and she goes, oh, come over here. I can help you. So she goes, what is this for? And I didn't want to say our podcast because I felt cheesy to being like, oh, my podcast just for my 100th episode. So I go, it's for a grandparent. And she goes, oh, okay. And then as I'm checking out, the lady, with the different lady, the lady that asked me, what is this for, comes up to the counter and said, which grandparent? And I said, kind of, because I hate I'm a very bad liar. And then she goes, because I know Jeff doesn't have any family that lives here, and I know you don't either. And I was like, oh, and I go, okay. You caught me. I lied. It's for our podcast. It's our 100th episode, and that's why I needed to get these balloons. She said, I know, I watch you. And so I totally got called out and busted. So shout out to the ladies at Party City at Lone Tree. They're amazing. They're so sweet, and they work so hard over there. And they were such a big help getting the balloons. But yes, I totally lied because I felt like it would be cheesy to say I was buying balloons for my podcast.
Well, I love that story. I love meeting people that listen to our podcast. It always blows my mind.
It makes me feel, okay, so I had someone, instead of saying, oh, I know you from Big Brother, which people don't recognize me really from Big Brother because it was so long ago, but I had somebody say, you're the podcast girl. And I loved that.
Yeah.
It made me feel good because it's like, okay, we're shifting gears here.
Well, we got 100 episodes in, thanks to you, the audience. Jordan's been working very hard on this. I work very hard on this. The Yay team that we have works very hard on this. So getting to 100 episodes, it's nice to pat yourself on the back once in a while for an accomplishment, which is why we got the balloons. I know it's a little cheesy, but hey, you got to celebrate sometimes. You got to take your wins and with a smile on your face.
Well, yeah, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I remember when the podcast episode got brought to us, and I was like, no, nobody's going to listen to us a podcast. I've never even thought about podcasting. And Lindsay goes, I really think you guys should do it. I think it would be good. I go, no, nobody's going to listen. People are tired of us. We are, 15 minutes of fame is up, that whole thing.
Yes.
And you were still working at Daily Blast Live. And so I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. And I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe. And then we meet the people at Yay, and you just find people that you connect with that are great to work with. And I think that's another reason why this podcast has grown the way it has in such a short time, is because we are a team. We all work together. And it's great.
Well, that's why I got into this business in the first place. And if it wasn't for this podcast, I don't know what I would do, because I need that team thing. You know, I played sports my whole life, which brought me onto a team. Then I worked in an environment with my buddies that brought me on a team. And then I got into, you know, the television industry at CBS, which was my team, right? I still talk to those guys. Then Daily Blast Live, who I still talk to, they're my team. And now our Yay podcast team. So I think I need that subconsciously in some sort of way in my life. And after being laid off, which you guys all know the last couple months, if I didn't have this podcast moving forward and you guys commenting and keeping my mind busy on that and giving us something to do, I don't know where I would be. So I'm really grateful and thankful for this podcast, because it keeps me busy while I'm looking for a new job. And again, I think things are really going to change in the new year, not only with this podcast, but with my career too.
But we take a lot of pride into this podcast too. We don't take it as, we got to record today. I mean, we said, this is our basement down here. I mean, you did all of this, the paneling. We were like, we're going to paint this. We're going to make this a studio. And we take this podcast seriously. Our topics that we talk about, it's what we're going through. And nothing with us is sugar-coated, fake. Everything is real. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, we're not trying to like make antagonizing videos that go viral or anything like that.
That's not us.
If it happens, it happens, you know, but we're not here to do that. We're here to be honest with you guys. And again, I want to thank you guys, because without you guys, there would be no podcast. So really thankful for you guys, and really going over all my thanks and gratitude, you know, towards the end of the year. And I like to do that. Coming up on our New Year's episode, we're going to be going over all of our goals and things that we plan. Not everything, you know, because I like to do my goals in detail, but you know, certain things that involve this podcast, what we want the future to look like for this podcast. So stay tuned for that in the new year. I know everyone's busy over the holidays, but I really like doing that. And it gives me an inspiration and a jump start for the new year.
Yes. And just your comments, just people are so, you know, sometimes when you're doing the podcast, I mean, this is 100 episodes. It's like, what all have we been talking about? But we try to keep it with relatable, like every day, parenting, marriage, things like that to, I don't know. I just feel like I want everybody to feel like they are sitting here with us, and we're your neighbors. We're the people that you're hanging out with. We're no better than anybody.
Yeah. The best compliment I've gotten over all the years, I don't know why this one always sticks out, like being on Big Brother or hosting or whatever it was. When someone's like, man, when they meet me, they're like, I always just wanted to go have a beer with you. Like, that's like the best compliment, because I don't want to be anything other than someone that you know, if you're out there and you're like, man, I wish that guy was my neighbor and I could have a beer with him. That's like the best compliment ever, because you like me, not a character I play or my opinions on it. It's just like, I just like average stuff. We're not supporting the average Joe anymore. It's got to be so extreme, or we're looking at all these things that upset us and that gets us going. It's like, what happened just to everyday guy, the 9-to-5 guy, the guy who works hard, who loves his family? You know, we need a little more appreciation for that guy.
Yeah, go back to more of the old school type things instead of showing this. I think a lot of people, I know this was perceived like, you are on a reality show. People think because you're on a reality show that you're rich. And we've talked about this, that like you have all this money and that you're famous, which some people, yes, you can make a lot of money with it, but it's not true. It's just, but people perceive that because it's like, oh, I just got off this show, and people recognize you, that people do put on this persona like they are, like they got all this, like millions of dollars, and that's not true.
Yeah, there's a handful of people who make reality television, or maybe more, maybe dozens or whatever it is, that really make a living and make a good living.
Game show stuff like what we're on.
No. That we're no career
dating
reality
shows.
stars.
Like you're no millionaire. You're not. I mean, even though they try to, yeah, you might get a discount on your car because of who you were, but you still got to pay for it. Like that is one thing. And I used to think that when I was younger, before we were on Big Brother, I watched, what is it? Flavor of Love, like Bret Michaels dating stuff. And I was like, and I remember right when I got off the plane, the first person I saw was, I can't even think. I think her name was Candace, but I'm so wrong. Probably she had tattoos and she was on Bret Michaels' show, and Daisy. It was Daisy.
Was she the bartender with the pink hair?
Oh, I loved her. She was in Chicago.
Yeah, that's how I know her. That's right.
I love her. She was so pretty. And I kind of thought about coloring my hair pink. I remember that.
I think I did. I think I met her one time.
She's
like, I went to a
beautiful.
bar and she was working. Not that I met her, and this was before Big Brother. But anyways, that was so weird.
It
Just
was
like, jogged
her
the
I
memory.
liked, and then Daisy had all the tattoos. But I get off the plane in LA. Daisy is the first person I saw. And I remember being like, oh, Daisy. And then like thinking, oh my gosh, she's probably like a millionaire now because she's got all this attention and all this stuff. And then what was it? Like a year later, a couple months later, then I was on Big Brother and I'm like, oh my God, it's not like that.
I remember before, and then we'll take a quick break, but I was living in LA at the time. Oh, this was way before then. I was living in LA at the time, and somehow the airport got shut down. You couldn't drive into LAX.
Mm-hmm.
And so my buddy dropped me off right by that In-N-Out Burger, you know, like over LAX, which if you go to LAX.
It's a nightmare.
I
It is
know.
a nightmare.
I've been there so many times because everyone who wants to come visit me in LA wanted to stop at In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get the whole fandom of that whole thing, but to each their own. Anyways, I got dropped off right there. And while I was getting dropped off, someone else got dropped off. And he had a suitcase and I was like, oh, I guess we're walking, huh? And he's like, yeah. And it was Cyrus. Remember
Who?
Cyrus from MTV, The Challenge and stuff? He was in like Road Rules or like
I know
The
that name.
House.
Why
the
can't
bald guy, the black bald guy. Really like nice guy, but he's been on forever.
he's on like old school.
Old school.
I know exactly. He was like on like Tammy's time, right?
Yeah, way back when. So
I
he's
know
like the original.
exactly who you're talking about.
It ended up being Cyrus, and I watched that like even like when I was younger, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you're Cyrus from MTV." He's like, "Yeah, man." And we just had a long walk all the way to the terminal, but it was just fun. Like I don't know, I get people like when they come up to us, you know, I'm like, I totally forget that I'm on TV or all that. But then you want to give them that memory. Like,
Right.
You don't want to be a jerk or whatever going on in your life. You want to be like, oh man, this person watched me and liked me. I can't, whatever's going on in my life, I have to kind of shut that off and answer their questions and be as cordial as I can. And that's what Cyrus did. And I still remember that from 20 years ago, you know?
I never went up to Daisy. I was too scared. But I should now, knowing I should have just went up and been like, what's up?
Because people remember those stories for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and do some stuff.
Adulting is hard. I mean, nobody wants to pay your taxes, right? I'm just kidding. You always got your mortgage. You always have to figure out what's for dinner because you have kids. There's just a lot going on. I wish I was a kid.
Yeah.
Life was much easier.
And you know what's hard as well? Finding a good doctor. As you guys all know, I'm going through some life changes, some job changes, and I recently had to pick up some new insurance. And the hardest part about that is finding a good doctor. It's kind of like finding a good mechanic. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors so you choose the right one for your needs. All you do is click and instantly book that appointment. It's as simple as that. It's something we're going through right now as we speak.
We actually just went through that because I had a list of my doctors wrote down for Jeff. And I was like, I will not take this insurance if I cannot see my doctors.
Right. But if you don't have an insurance agent, ZocDoc is the perfect choice because you could instantly find out if your doctor is in network or not.
And you want something like this because a lot of doctors' offices these days, they want you to call the insurance and figure out if they're in network, and ZocDoc will let you know right away. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments.
I love same-day appointments because I'm so last minute all the time. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/TogetherMess to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/TogetherMess, MESS. ZocDoc.com/TogetherMess.
Welcome back. So we just had the best of episode.
Which was great.
Yes. And this is our 100th episode. Is there anything you can think of that certain episodes, maybe 1, 2, 3 episodes that we've done that you love? I can think. Okay, so I'll go first and let you think because I
right.
already had my ideas. So I'm going to give you time to think about it. So one that makes me laugh the most because I remember how mad you were was about losing the Amazon Prime because I forgot to pay the Amazon Prime bill that episode. You were like, we don't have Amazon Prime anymore because I was talking about the Summer I Turned Pretty. And I love that show. And now every time if I see Summer I Turned Pretty, like on Amazon Prime, I think of just you saying that to me. So now I correlate those two together. And then the postpartum depression one, I think was very impactful. It was good to talk about. It was real tears and real emotion because it always brings the tears whenever we go back. And then the episode of you losing your job.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah, I knew maybe one of those, but those, you know.
Yeah, the couple episodes of right when I lost my job and us crying and looking at each other, it's like you're going to listen, this is a celebration. But again, thank you to you guys because without me having this podcast, I know I could talk to Jordan, but for some reason, us doing this takes it to another level. It's almost like therapeutic in some sort of way. So getting out all those emotions that I was truly feeling and vulnerable and having that cry, I think it's good for you. I don't know why I've always been like that. Even in LA, I'm like, let's get emotional by the ocean.
That's the thing with our friends. Everybody's like, does Jeff want to go by the ocean and cry?
So every time I go to LA, my friends, I know I told this story before, but they're like, oh, we're going to make time to go by the ocean and cry and tell some stories. And now it's something like my friends almost look forward to because most guys are just like, I don't want to talk about my feelings. Let's put it down. And I don't know why I've always felt better getting them out because then I realize where my problems are and I face them head on and it's okay to cry and go through your emotions. At least it is for me. And then the next step is let's fix it. Let's get to that place where I feel better. And I do feel better. And I remember saying on that podcast, I kind of want to document what I'm saying right now because I know I'm not in my right head. So I want to document what I'm saying so I could look back. And then when I look back, see how vulnerable and insecure and down in dumps I was. And then look at it now and say, wow, I really am not in that place. I'm in a better place. And maybe I didn't even realize that till I look back on that. So having all these podcasts and being very open and having the audience be so open and generous with their time, it really, I think, helped me along these last couple months.
Well, I think I've said this before too. The podcast helps people really see who you truly are. Because we don't put, again, we try to be very raw on here, whether people like it or not.
Yeah, well, I think genuine people are, harder to come by these days. I don't know what's real on the internet, whether it's Diddy or Jay-Z or this new guy, whatever is happening. I don't know. There's so many conspiracy stories coming out about everything across the board that I'm like, I don't know if that's true, know? So you really have to be careful of what you're listening to and where you're getting your information from. And again, we're not broadcasters or journalists or anything like that. We're just sharing an opinion that we have, know? And I think people appreciate that. It's a breath of fresh air in a world that's kind of filled with lies and hatred and vitriol and attacking whichever side you're on, things like that. I'm leaving that in 2024. I'm leaving that behind because
I think you kind of got with that caught up because of what you did for work. You had to get involved in all of that with the politics, with celebrities and talk about that, even if you didn't want to. And I think that consumed a lot of you. And I think now 2025, you get a fresh start and you're like, okay, I don't have to do that anymore because who you're around and what you're listening to really does affect how you think. Yeah.
It impacts your emotions for sure.
Just like when we watch The Servant. I know we've mentioned this and how weird it is. Now we're on season 4 and I watch it and it's so weird. And then I go to bed and I have the weirdest dreams.
Okay.
Y'all want to hear something weird? Hang on before you get started.
Yeah, no, I want to hear.
I told Jeff, so, when you're watching something creepy like that, it's kind of, would you say it's creepy? It's not creepy. It's just weird.
It's M. Night Shyamalan. So if you know his stuff, he did Sixth Sense, and he's just a very unique writer and director, and his stuff is always kind of weird or has a surprise to it. So if you're not familiar with him, that's who he is, and that's who the show Servant, who we talked about. I don't know how we got on this subject, but that's who we talked about in the past. But now we're on episode 4, and I want you to get in your story. But if they don't start answering some questions at this point, And if they leave us wondering, like,
I'm going to be so
I'm
mad.
going to be so mad.
We have been sticking because I'm like, okay, we need to find out this. We need to find out that. And they're not answering my questions, but it's still weird. And I'm still sticking to it because I need to know what happened. But I have a feeling we're going to watch it all the way through and we're not going to have any answers. And don't let me know that if you have watched it already.
And again, I think it started in 2017. So
Something
we're going
like that.
back.
Yeah,
we're going back with this show that's on Apple TV. It is interesting. We do have to finish it at this point because now I need answers. But if Shyamalan doesn't give some answers to me, I'm going to be very upset that I spent a lot of my life watching that show.
And then, okay, so we watch it. It's like this episode we watched was so weird. And it's up in the middle of the night. I have to pee. And I get up to pee. I'm like, I turned off Leighton's TV. Why is Leighton's TV on? So I go in Leighton's room and Leighton's TV is not on. It's just there's someone talking like I don't know, it sounded like a news person or if somebody was on YouTube or something. And I was like, why is this? And then I was like, am I half asleep? And I go walk over and I just hit the power button off, but the TV was off, but there was something on. And I'm like, and you know, when you watch scary stuff or weird things, I feel like all that kind of happens or you look into it more because that's what you're paying attention to. That's what you're watching.
I did. So it does get a little freaky, not freaky, but it gets weird. And I had to come downstairs and shut the lights off
You
one
got
day.
scared.
And I ran. I ran up the stairs. I'm like, someone's going to jump out, grab my leg because they're always in the basement doing weird stuff down there. So it's like in my subconscious, like I'm a little kid. Like someone's all of a sudden going to be in the house and get me.
Like that thing that lifts up. I don't know what that is.
That's where the sump pump is.
Yeah. And that's kind of reminds me of like the hole that is in their basement. All the weird stuff. I think about that. I'm like, that's covering it. We're good.
Yeah, we're good to go. But it's just funny when you watch something creepy, how it tricks your mind and then you get creeped out a little bit too.
But Jeff's mom always says this. Because I told Jeff's mom this, in North Carolina, nobody had basements. You know, you had a big house if you had a basement. I've said this before. So when I started dating you, I thought it was so weird that everybody had a basement in your town that I went to. I was like, everybody's got a basement. I thought it was so weird. And I remember we went down there because that's where you always hung out. And I was like, ew, that's so creepy. That's what I thought. And then now I love my basement. But still in my head sometimes, like if I've been gone, I'm like, I wonder if somebody got into the basement. We have a camera that's right by our door. And so, I mean, you could see if somebody got in and I'd be notified. But I still, like if you're out of town, I come down here like I can do something and check. And I always wonder if I open up the shower curtain, I'll look behind the shower curtain. I'm like, if somebody really was there, what would I do? Like, would you run? Would you scream? Would you freeze? What would you do?
I don't want to find out.
That's what I'm saying, though. But me and my girlfriend, we always laugh because I'm like, we go down and we look and we check. But then what's going to happen if somebody was in there?
Fight or flight.
Remember, we lived down over by Cherry Creek in this apartment when we first moved here to Denver. Do you remember? I remember my friend Shauna goes, oh my God, did you hear what happened? The homeless person got in our building. So our building was very secure. You had to have a fob to get in. You couldn't just walk in. And remember Shauna said the concierge was working and kept smelling something through the vent and was like, what is that smell? And was going crazy. And there was a homeless person that somehow got in that followed, I guess, someone that had got in late at night and just went in one of the closets and was staying there for it was like when it was really cold and was staying there for like a week, but would leave in the day and then come back at night.
Oh,
do you remember that? But the
concierge
got up because they were like, okay, this drives me nuts. What's the smell? And was going around looking to see what was going on. And we opened the door. There was a person in the storage. And he was just like, hi.
Well, that's a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I don't think
just
that person
reminds
meant
me
any
of
harm.
That. No,
you know
he was just trying to stay warm. But Sean is like, can you believe that? That person, and you couldn't get up the elevators if you didn't have your fob.
Right.
Man, I don't miss those days at all. You know how frustrating that was?
I know. You know what kind of reminds me of, though? I don't mean to bring it back to like social media, but if I hadn't watched that scary show or whatever scary movie you're watching and you go down in the basement, your mind is telling you that something's there possibly and you have to protect yourself, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like social media. If you're on social media all day, your mind is telling you whatever you're seeing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of putting it into your brain, just like if you didn't watch that show, there wouldn't be anything scary in your basement. You just walk down there and grab what you need and come back up.
Right.
But if you're on social media all day and then you run into a situation, you might handle it completely different because of what is getting fed to your brain through social media.
That's
and
true.
I think that's where we're at. It's just interesting. I'm always interested in the mind, you know, like how the mind works and psychology. And it's like, if you're not on social media looking at all day, you're not going to have those same thoughts about like a guy who cuts you off or someone at the grocery store. You know, you're not going to have these big outbursts that I feel like society is having more.
Mm-hmm.
Do I keep rolling back to society and social media a lot?
Yeah. I wish I was I think being a psychologist would be so cool. Like
I'm
like
fascinated with it.
psychiatrist. Like, I mean, I'm sure you deal with some messed up stories, but just I want to deal with a crazy person and just like get in their mind and know what they're thinking. Like, I think that would be very, to me, I'm like, because why do you think that way? Like,
Sometimes I feel that way about you.
Oh, yeah. Serious. Yeah, I'm serious. I
I'm
just
like,
come in and
what
cry.
happened? What happened between breakfast and lunch that it's craziness all of a sudden?
Yeah, and then I'll just start crying and I'm like, I'm having a meltdown right now. But I hold everything in and then it's like once a month and then it all comes out and my feelings and how I'm feeling. I just spiel it all out. It's not good, but I don't like talking about my feelings and I try not to be emotional. And when I was on antidepressants, I wasn't emotional at all. And then now I'm like in my feelings and I can cry now.
Well, it's the holidays. Just drink that away and push your feelings
Drink
way
it away
down.
with coffee.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap this up. All right, welcome back. We were just talking about funny things and like running in the basement. And you know what I noticed the other day, and I noticed at your house too? You got this thing on your face. Because I don't know the right answer here. But you know the shower curtain, you know, like on your shower that has the plastic on the back and then the cloth curtain on the front? Are you supposed to tuck that cloth part into the tub when you're done so it gets all wet? Or are you supposed to always leave that outside the tub, then have the plastic inside the tub so that's where all the water goes? Jordan and her family take the cloth part and they put it inside the tub. So when I'm cleaning down there and I take the cloth part out, it's got like a ring of water stain on it because it's not supposed to be in the tub. So you tell me, what's the right answer? You keep your cloth part of the shower curtain in the tub like Jordan and her crazy family, or do you leave that out so it doesn't get wet? I'm going to throw it over to you.
Oh, do you just walk around the house and make notes?
No, I was cleaning and you mentioned the basement. I was like, wait a second, I got one because now I need to get a new shower curtain and it's all tucked into the tub.
I don't even use that. I've never even used that shower.
Well, people do when they come down.
The cleaning ladies left it like that.
Yeah, they did. The cleaning ladies did leave it like that. So it makes me wonder, am I wrong? What's the right answer?
I'm always wrong. So I do how I've always done it. You put the plastic in when you're showering. And then when you get out, you just leave it in there.
The plastic part?
Yeah, I don't tuck it out.
Okay, what do you do with the cloth part that's hanging
cloth
to block
part,
the tub?
while you're showering, the cloth part stays out. And then when everything's dry and done, I put it in the tub.
You do?
Sometimes.
I don't know if that's the case. Our one down here that's for like guests is all like there's just a water stain on it. So somebody's showering with it in the water.
Who is it?
I don't want to.
Is it our mystery person?
I don't want to.
Is it Jeff?
Is it me?
I'm joking.
Oh, it's not
Jeff
me.
Jeff always has pee in the toilet. You work out and then you don't flush the toilet. It
if
makes
it's
me
yellow,
so mad.
let it mellow.
It's gross. It's nasty. And I walk down here. I'm like, how long has that pee been in that toilet? And that leaves rings. It's gross. And then I walk upstairs and there's poop.
First of all,
there's poop in the toilet for my kids. And I go,
yeah, I was going to say,
I told Lawson the other day, I said, you were just on the toilet. You didn't flush it? And he goes, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I go, you're so worried about rushing back to play your Madden game. I go, flush the toilet. Poop in the toilet is gross. Flush it.
okay, we could agree on that. We can't agree on the curtain thing. But anyways, I don't know how I got off on that.
Or your
subject.
mouthwash that you leave your cup out, but you don't throw it away.
Because I work out down here and I've been over this. Sometimes I like
flush your pee, take out the trash can that you got your trash in. And if you're going to have your mouthwash in the cup sitting out there, throw that away. Don't leave it sitting out.
I like to reuse things.
You just like gargle and then you just leave the cup, throw it away in the trash.
No, because I work out down here, like I said, and sometimes a fresh breath gives me like a fresh set of, like better lungs or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
You're so weird.
I do have my own way of doing things, but there's a rhyme and reason, even if it doesn't make sense to you. Do you know?
Yeah.
I got other things I could talk about.
The other day I was walking and we have a Christmas sleigh and it was turned. And I laughed because in my head, I'm like, did Jeff turn that sleigh on purpose so he could write down that I turned it back? Because you get really annoyed because like if something's out of place or like looks off, I will correct it and put it back. And somebody had wrote me and they're like, how is your house like that front area always so perfect with kids in the house? And I'm like, because I'm constantly just touching everything. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, you're a little OCD with
am.
stuff, but I think I am too. I'm only OCD in the kitchen.
Well, yeah.
What? Is there other ones? I'm more OCD in the kitchen. Is that a better statement?
Yeah, no, you clean up. Only thing I don't like is like if you cooking bacon and the grease splats, you're really bad about cleaning that.
No, I do clean. I hate doing that too, but the kids love like bacon on the weekends and stuff. So I'll cook it, but it does get everywhere and I hate that it's everywhere. And I do notice you clean that because when I come back, I'm like, yes, you clean that.
Because I can't stand grease stains because it just looks like your kitchen's dirty.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm very particular about where things are in the kitchen because I do all the cooking. So like if those scissors are out of place or like you put the spoons back somewhere else, I'm like, what's happening in here? Just like leave everything, put it back where it was. Because when you're cooking, you got something burning, something in the oven. You got to be moving. You got to know where your weapons are.
Are you going to put up your laundry that's been folded up by the TV on the dresser?
This is our 100th episode. I thought we were going to keep it light. Wasn't jamming the shower curtain down your throat. Now you're just throwing stones.
When are you going to get that laundry? It's been sitting there probably since you lost your job.
No, that's not true. It's just because I work out
when
a lot.
The cleaning ladies came, I had to move the clothes so they could dust the dresser.
That's not true. I clean up once in a while, but it piles up sometimes. And then I'm just like, well, you know what? Leave it there. I'm just going to wear it anyway. I'm going to work out in it. Half of it's workout clothes.
Better find a spot for it. I fold it. You give me a lot of stuff to fold.
Listen, I do a lot of stuff that you don't even know goes on in here.
Yeah?
Yeah. The other day, I cleaned this whole place top to bottom.
Oh, you did. Jeff's a really good mopper.
Have you ever touched a mop in your whole life?
I have, but you're just a better mopper than me, so I let you do it.
That's like the worst excuse ever. That's like, you're better at pumping gas, so you do it.
Okay, you drive my car all the time and you take my gas and you drive across town.
It's wintertime here, and that's our car, not your car. It's our car.
It's mainly mine. And then Lawson even says it. And then you keep changing the charger. And then I get in
That's a problem, too. That's a problem, too. The
I
charger.
Get in the car,
I get so pissed.
I get so mad.
We have different chargers for our phones because mine's an iPhone,
Lawson
whatever.
goes, Mom, this is so annoying. I go, tell your dad to drive his car. And Lawson goes, yeah. And I go, my goal this year is I'm going to get a new car and your dad can take this car and I'm going to get a bigger car. And then Lawson goes, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, let's go here now because this is like way out of control and I need to take a picture. Jordan, I swear to God, has 8 jackets in our car.
Yeah.
8.
You
And
never
they're
know
not
when you need it. You never know
8
what
of them.
you never know what mood you're in. The other day we were at a restaurant and our friend's daughter was throwing a fit and I had a jacket and like a Santa Claus looking jacket and it took care of the problem. You never know if you need it. The boys will get in the car and be like, I'm freezing. I'm like, here, take my jackets, cover them over you because I wear those jackets that are very dramatic and down to your ankle because I look like I live in Alaska and it's got the perka.
Yeah, and there's like 3 of those in there.
Yeah, and they're cozy. I just give them to the boys and they use them as blankets. In the morning, they're always like, I'm freezing. So I have reasons of why I have things. But then you come in and then you just try to take over.
I guess I am a little particular.
You are. And then like his glasses, he puts his sunglasses at the top up here. I'm like, I drive this car. Why are my glasses in the console? Why are yours up top?
Let's get into that. You have 800 pairs of glasses.
I do. I have an obsession.
Okay, it's out of control because where you're supposed to put your keys, which Jordan never puts her keys, they're always in her purse. She's got a crazy weird obsession that she needs to have the keys at all times.
No, it's because I'm not going to stand there and dig in my purse. There's 1,000 receipts. There's my wallet. There's makeup in there. There's hand sanitizer. There's lotion. There's kids' toys in my purse. There's so many different things in my purse. There's my medication. So it's my calming.
Your safety
It's my
backup?
safety medication. I'm not on medication, but I take it if I have a panic attack and I need it like instantly.
In case she can't find her keys, she has to pop a pill because she gets freaked out.
No, and so I don't like spend time in my car. You just touch the handle and the door unlocks.
Yeah, but I like to walk to the car and already start opening the trunk and opening the door.
Well, when you're with me, it's different.
Yeah, I know.
Then
I have no control over the keys. No, you won't relinquish them. You're a psycho with that. I'm gonna get back to the sunglasses because our whole thing where I bought this thing right next to the door, which says keys that you could hang your keys and jacket, it's filled. I'm going to go take a picture. I hope I get a picture. We could put it in here. There's like 10 sunglasses in there. Then I have one nook that's 4 inches by 4 inches. One in our kitchen that Jordan has all the other nooks, but she jams all of her sunglasses into my one nook.
Can we talk about the office? You have that whole office yourself and it's a disaster. And you have that whole closet.
There's Christmas presents in there.
More like full of clothes. Then you bring your shoes out in the mudroom. You have a whole closet in there, but you want to bring your shoes out? I'm like, get your shoes away from our shoes because you have a whole closet.
Okay. I'm going to keep going with the sunglasses. Then when we were just talking about, because we have different phones, we have to change the power cords in there. So then you could hear your phone through the speakers. So I go in to the console or whatever you call that thing. And there's like 10 more pairs of sunglasses in there. So I go from trying to find the keys buried under 8 sunglasses. Then I get in here to try to switch the cord. And there's 10 more pairs of sunglasses in there.
They're like $10
and
sunglasses.
You're mad because I have
Amazon.
one pair of sunglasses in there?
Well, they're because I'm driving. I should have them up
Well, you know
top.
what? I'll give that space to you if you break it down to one pair of sunglasses.
But some of the sunglasses, I like it. If my hair is pulled back, I like those sunglasses. And if my hair is down, I like these type of sunglasses. Or some days if I'm like, oh, I look terrible, I like my bigger sunglasses because it covers my whole face. Or I have my sunglasses that I wear with my baseball hats that fit my baseball hat. They're all for different reasons. But they're $10, so you should be happy. They're from Amazon.
That last 10 minutes was pretty much
This podcast.
It was a whole synopsis of our past 100 episodes.
That's exactly how.
So it's a good way to end it there. Guys, again, we couldn't do this without you. 100 episodes. Thank you so much for listening and telling your friends and saying hi to us when you see us. And we're very proud of the 100 episodes. But again, couldn't do it without you guys, our team at Yay, everybody who shows up every time we do this podcast. So thank you to everybody out there. And it's good to be part of a team. And hopefully we have bigger and better things coming in the new year. And we just keep growing and bringing you guys our problems twice a week.
Thank you for continuing to download, subscribe, tag your friends. Thank you for sticking along with us and for all your support. And like Jeff said, thank you for our Yay team. We wouldn't be where we are without the group, with everybody and without you guys. So have a wonderful week and bye. Cheers to us.
Yeah, cheers to 100 episodes. We'll see you guys next time.
Yay Media Group.